Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Doctor Who. Last time on Doctor Who we had The Haunting of Villa Diodati, where the Doctor and the gang went back to meet Lord Byron and Mary Shelley and Percy Shelley and, well, I guess the rest of the crew, as Mary Shelley was about to write Frankenstein. However, things seem to be a bit off. Percy Shelley wasn't there, for one thing. Also, there was a Cyberman there, the lone Cyberman, also known as Ashad, who was after the Cyberium, which actually was being, I guess, protected by Percy Shelley. So eventually the Doctor ended up having to give the Cyberium to the Cybermen in order to save Percy Shelley and everyone else that was there. And so now we must go and deal with the consequences, what is going to be happening in the future now that we have basically ignored Jack's warning. So yeah, we're on to the final 3 episodes, or at least the 3 latest episodes, technically. At time of recording this, we are on sort of the last 3 here of this great long watch through of Doctor Who that started at the beginning of 2018. Isn't that insane? But yes, I believe this is going to be a 2-part finale, and then obviously the final episode we'll be watching in this will be the Series 13 New Year's special, but we'll get to that when we get to that. First, we do have a 2-part finale, I believe. So yeah, what's going to be happening? Are we going to get the fugitive Doctor in this at all? I don't know how she would factor into this, but that'd be kind of cool. Are we going to get stuff with the Master, with the Timeless Children, with Jack? Who the hell knows, honestly? Well, you guys know. Obviously, you've seen the episodes. I don't know yet, so why don't we go ahead and get right into this episode of Doctor Who so I can figure out what the heck's going on. Here we go.
The Cybermen were defeated.
Oh.
The victors of 1 billion battles broken. An empire of might and terror fallen. Every empire has its time.
We never really see this with the Cybermen.
Falls. But that which is dead can live again.
No.
In the hands of a believer.
Oh, that was a good transition right there. Okay. That's a good cold open right there. And this is something new for the Cybermen we never really see. Ascension of the Cybermen. Meanwhile, somewhere else. Is this wait. Is this him?
We look after him. Until you find the parents.
Okay, decision made.
It's official. He's ours.
Hey, I guess they just never found the parents then.
Oh, aren't you?
Brendan. Okay.
If it gets worse, I'll call the doctor.
Half a mile out, we're in the very far future. Immediate aftermath of the cyber wars. Cybermen have hunted down and wiped out the majority of the human race.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, it was never a good time to break that news to you. If it's any consolation, it almost wiped out the Cybermen too.
Yeah, but almost isn't good
thanks.
enough, is it?
It's too soon.
Uh-oh. Are these Cybermen?
This cockle is a neural inhibitor system. A what? Yeah, I didn't have a clue either.
Duh.
As far as I understand, they have suppressed all emotion and sensations of pain, which means if we can unsuppress those, they realise what's happening to their bodies, it sends them a bit mad, which is one way of stopping them.
Ooh, you're gonna drive them mad. That's
Particle
that's
projection.
classic, but it's
The
also
doctors
brutal.
customised it to project particles of gold into the air. Cybermen are allergic to gold, right?
I did
Yes.
hear that once.
I'm
Well,
gonna go and get the
sometimes.
Ravio was a nurse. We got a childminder, a driver, a builder. We're just ordinary humans. Refugees.
Yeah, that's what I
We've
was
all
thinking.
lost everything. And everyone. All to the Cybermen. And nobody cares.
I care.
Yeah.
We'll fight whatever's coming.
You may not be soldiers,
Activation time.
but she is the Doctor of War. Oh god, heads!
Cyber drones.
They just launched heads. Oh. Careful. Oh, great. That's great. They've lost all their defenses. Ryan ducked out. Oh, there's no time. We're already taken off. Oh, jeez, that is a crazy ship.
Spread my message.
Oh.
Be afraid. All humanity have been erased. All life will fall, and the Cybermen will rise again.
Not if I have anything to do with it. Run! Go!
Oh! It's just a grenade.
We have to get out of here. We can't make it to the TARDIS. No escape ship. A relentless Cyberman. Very limited options.
Why'd you park so far away?
One option. How fast are you feeling? Come on.
Are we gonna steal that ship?
Yes, we are!
Duh. How far away did you park the TARDIS?
Cyber fighter. Which makes it trickier, unless you may, which I am, which is good.
Duh.
Because I used to hot wire walk drives for fun on a weekend as a teenager. Not that we had weekends or teenagers. Basically, I used to do this a lot and people got mad.
Yeah.
I was going to save all our lives. So who was right all along and is now the real winner?
There's a faster way. Here, let me.
Oh, he can do it better.
Hey, do you
Well,
need
she
help?
hasn't done it in a
We're
while.
calling Kid. I was with him the day he found you. Look at you now.
What is this plot they're throwing in?
Where are we?
Okay, it's not fine.
The whole system's melting down.
It can't. Not here.
It's going to blow. Get down!
Hey, get down where? You're on a ship! Wow!
That's where the others will be heading. Now, if this is warp drive, we'll get there before them. I've been scanning, but I can't see them. Maybe we're already ahead.
He's really good with this ship.
What?
You good at this?
Yeah.
First thing my dad taught me. How to hijack cyber ships. How to take them apart.
Huh.
How to burn them to the ground.
Cool.
Quite a grudge you've got against humanity, especially considering you used to be one.
When the glorious Cyber Empire arrived, I was a willing recruit.
That is
Ascended
strange.
my rightful place as I began my blessed ascension. I was denied.
I mean, talk about an identity crisis. You despise who you are. That anger and hatred that's driving you.
That's not
Those are
Cybermen.
human emotions. The real Cybermen, they don't do emotions. So
Yeah.
you loathe your own being because of what's driving you. Now that's what I call an inner conflict.
Yeah.
Yes. You are correct.
Oh, am I? Didn't expect you to take it that well.
Yeah.
I'll have to bill you for therapy at this rate.
Tuh.
I am the perfect vessel. Everything is in me for the ascension of the Cybermen. And beyond.
Beyond.
What do you mean beyond?
What comes
What's
next?
beyond that?
The death of everything is within me.
The death of everything. Uh-oh.
Everybody gets their stuff back.
Whoop. Still alive.
I'm fine.
And we're back. Alright. Yeah, Cybermen. It's a debris field.
Okay, so we channel every last bit of life support towards propulsion. Everything off. Shut everything down. Any system that's
Shut this down, shut this whole thing down.
The power.
Alright, let's see. Oh, come on. Woo! That was a good shot.
Coach Armor's responding. Hello.
We've made it.
This is the doctor. Who's that?
I told you. This is Coach Armor's.
Coach Armor,
Oh, it's a person.
you're a person, not a planet. Is this a cyber ship?
War carrier. We get this working, it can get us to Kashamas. Maybe even find your friends.
War carrier. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
What was it carrying?
Soldiers?
Let's have a butcher's. Butcher's hook. Look. It's Cockney rhyming slang. No, don't worry about it.
You are really strange.
Nuh.
Excuse me, I'm the most normal bloke you're ever going to meet.
No, strange is a compliment.
Nuh. I don't think there's any more
like
Cockney
strange.
around here. Nuh. Oh, Graham. Ooh. Ooh, that's a little old school.
Carrier. Bringing soldiers to the front. Fresh Cybermen ready to fight.
They're a little classic looking. I like it.
Warrior class.
But are they alive? Why would they just be dropped off here?
Cybermen in here.
Ah, and they're here too. There's an entire new army for him.
I don't believe it.
This guy looks so familiar.
Did this settlement start with you?
Yes. With myself and a handful of others.
He...
Fleeing the cyber camps.
Oh, what's the character I'm thinking of from Game of Thrones? We'll have to look it up afterwards.
We had heard tell of this place. We didn't really believe it, but we managed to get here. The war hadn't made it this far, so we built shelter, and over time others came. The word spread.
So, where's everyone else?
There's only me.
Word spread to the
I helped
Cybermen.
everyone else through the boundary.
Oh, okay.
I felt like it was my duty to wait in case others came.
The one that stayed
It's
behind.
been a long time.
You sacrificed your own life on the chance others were still out there.
You make it sound more noble than it is.
So it's true.
Ascension is near.
Oh, no.
Awaken, my soldiers. The ascension shall begin.
Whoop! What is he doing?
Carrying a Cyberman that makes other Cybermen scream.
Ugh.
So where's this
God,
boat?
Ashad is so cool.
Because that's just the sea.
This is where it starts. Every time. But I've seen people go through. And I hope they're alive and well elsewhere.
That's quite a risk everyone's taken.
Nuh.
How is that possible?
I don't know. It's good, isn't it? It's the last way out of this galaxy.
Wow.
Well, Brendan, would you mind coming with us to the back office?
What is happening?
Coming out of the vortex.
I don't know what's happening there. So, are these Cybermen different now? Oh gosh.
What is that?
That's not possible.
That's Gallifrey.
I've never seen it look like that before.
That's not our planet.
That's where the
That's
boundary
Gallifrey.
goes? Or is it, this is where it's going to go this time?
There's Gallifrey here.
Uh-oh. Oh, buddy.
It's a good entrance, right?
afraid, Doctor.
Oh, no.
Because everything is about to change.
Oh, God.
Forever.
No! Don't leave me! Oh. Oh. Damn it. Okay. Barristan Selmy, is that right? Yep. Okay, I was right. That's Sir Barristan Selmy from Game of Thrones. Okay. Just wanted to check that super quick. Because when I first saw him, I was like, it looks like him, but I couldn't think of the character name. But it came to me later, so. Oh. Oh, boy. Okay. Oh, that's the penultimate episode of Series 12. Oh, why is it going to Gallifrey? Perhaps that's where the fugitive doctor comes from? Maybe not from Gallifrey. Like, maybe she's not the doctor, but she is someone who was born on Gallifrey from the last humans. Maybe something like that. That's my immediate thought of seeing Gallifrey there. But it's entirely possible that this has nothing to do with the fugitive doctor. So, yeah. Oh, boy, oh, boy. That was a really good episode, actually. I really, really enjoyed that. Maybe... well... I was gonna say maybe favorite Cyberman episode we've had in a while, but I will say the what the hell were they called? Was it World Enough and Time, and then The Doctor Falls? Those were great Cyberman episodes too. So, but yeah, definitely. I mean, better than most Cybermen episodes, since Series 2, I guess? Maybe. I definitely would put this one... And you'd also count last episode, too, definitely, as a Cyberman episode. Because that's the episode that introduces Ashad. Ashad is such a great villain, man. It's so interesting, and... Okay, I'll be honest. Okay. Let's all face facts and let's just say, yes, I know what the next episode is called. I know what it's called. Do I know anything that's going to happen next episode? Good Lord, no. And thank God, no. I don't know what's going to happen next episode at all. But I had this sneaking suspicion that the Master would come back. Like, you don't set up the Master at the beginning of the season like that, and then he doesn't come back in the finale, So that's the thing. I had a sneaking suspicion that the Master would be back in the finale. But honestly, like, I kind of forgot during this episode until finally it's like, oh yeah, the Master. And it's like, well, but I really like Ashad, Ashad is so interesting. So yeah, it's also interesting they gave no answer for who Brendan is. Like, that just was a thing that happened, and then it's just like, all right, next episode. Like, what? Oh man, I want to watch next episode so badly now, I do, but we're gonna wait the week. We're gonna be good boys and girls, and we're gonna wait. But this was definitely, I really did like this episode. Honestly, I think overall, I like Series 12 more than Series 11. I think Series 12 has been really solid. The only sort of minor, the only sort of knock on this season so far, I think, has been Orphan 55. That's the only episode where I'm like, yeah, I didn't like that. Well, but that's the thing. Of the entire, era of the 13th Doctor, that's the only episode I don't like, So that's the thing. Like, I overall, I would say Series 12 has been better than Series 11, definitely. So we'll see how that. We'll see if that can, if they can bring it on home in the last episode. I know. I'm sure you guys are about to go into the comments and be like, "Oh well, buh," and whatever. I don't care. I mean, let's also face the facts that by the time this video goes out to YouTube, I will have already recorded the finale, so whatever. But still don't post spoilers for the next episode, you guys know. But I don't care. I'm sure you guys have... I'm sure you guys have your opinions either way on what the finale will be, but I'm excited, and I want them to bring the game on home, yo. Bring it home. But we'll see next episode. Man, seriously. And, when I kind of think back on this episode, and I think, when it all, is said and done, it is kind of a standard plot of, okay, they're escaping the Cybermen and stuff like that. But I don't know, it really does work in this one, this episode really does work. I really enjoyed it, Huh. Okay. First off, notes. First thing I wrote down in the notes. Empire Falls and Believer. That opening speech was really interesting. I mean, Ashad may be one of my favorite Doctor Who villains now. Like, there's always the classic, I guess, the trinity of Doctor Who villains: the Daleks, the Cybermen, and the Master. And the Cybermen have always sort of been a good third place behind, or at least I should say in modern Doctor Who. I can't speak for classic Doctor Who, because I haven't seen it all yet. But from what I have seen in new Doctor Who, the Cybermen have always been a steady third place after the Daleks and the Master, I think maybe I would say the Master is probably, the Master is kind of more consistent of the three of them, and then I think the Daleks are given sort of better stories than the Cybermen. But with the addition of Ashad, who I hope... here's the thing, is that we are kind of to the point where it's like, well, what if we go through all of this and, next episode we defeat Ashad, and that's just that. I kind of want to keep him around, as something. But even if he's, defeated or killed next episode, I think Ashad will go down as a really great Doctor Who villain. He's so fascinating, especially because of how he relates to the Cybermen, So that first speech with, Empire's Fall, and I don't think we've ever really seen Cybermen so down on their luck before, That's definitely what it feels like. The Cybermen are very down on their luck. They're still going. The thing is that everything is sort of torn apart, And this does sort of remind me, I feel like this is kind of what they wanted to do, maybe, in Nightmare in Silver, where it's like, the Cybermen, there's really just almost none of them left, but there's not a lot of humans either. But that was more of the fallout of that. 1,000 years later, and they say it's like, oh well, I feel bad for the bloke that had to push the button, So that's the thing. I almost feel like this is what they wanted that to be, where it's like, okay, here's the Cybermen, we really haven't seen them before, At least not that I can think of. Here's the Cybermen. They're not, at the height of their power or anything. They are broken. They are beaten. They are few. And right now, they are being led by someone who's not really even a Cyberman. He's just a believer, And that's the most interesting thing, is that, you know what it also kind of reminds me of? Ashad also kind of reminds me of the Cult of Skaro, where the Cult of Skaro, their whole point was to imagine, to be creative. You know, they had to think outside of the Dalek programming in order to gain victory. They had to do things that Daleks would never do, which was a very interesting thing about the Cult of Skaro. Ashad is kind of the same way, where Ashad, he's not really a Cyberman. You know, he's only somewhat converted, but he's a true believer. You know, he believes in the Cybermen and, like, you know, and all of their, I mean, I don't want to say like teachings and philosophies because they don't really have those, but he believes in the programming. He believes in the strength of the Cybermen, but it's all belief. It's all human. You know, the Doctor even says, like, you know, you are being driven by anger. And that anger that drives you is anger towards the anger that's driving you. Because you're not a Cyberman, you know? You're not actually a Cyberman. So it's so fascinating, and him having to think about all of this, and that also making him the perfect vessel for the Cyberium is very fascinating, you know? So he's definitely like the Cult of Skaro in that respect, that he is just so different from the Cybermen, but it's what the Cybermen need in order to survive, you know, because right now it's like, okay, yeah, they're just sort of teetering along, trying to kill some humans, but, you know, maybe they're not really getting anywhere. Now, through Ashad, they can ascend, they can rebuild, they can become the Cybermen that they always, you know, that they used to be, basically. So that's the thing. He is such an interesting villain, you know? Let's see. We had the Last of the Humans, which was pretty interesting, that little settlement. I also wrote down the weakness devices. So that was also very interesting. I mean, first there was the general force field, makes sense. But also they had the two devices for their more specific weaknesses, which were first, you know, reinstating all those emotions within a Cyberman so that they realize what's happened to their body and they're driven insane. Which, when you really stop and think about it, has always been a very brutal way of destroying the Cybermen. Now, I haven't really gotten that much in the classic episodes that I've watched, which I've watched 4, is that right? Yeah, because there was the 10th Planet, the Moon Base, Tomb of the Cybermen, and then Wheel in Space. That's right. So they've never really used that in the classic Cybermen episodes that I've watched. That's entirely possible. It'll show up later. But they've definitely used that. I mean, that was how the 10th Doctor beat the Cybermen in Series 2, was that he drove them all insane and then it literally killed them because of how mad they were driven. So, and then the other one of, you know, releasing gold into the air. Yeah, and I like how they say it's like, oh yeah, Cybermen are allergic to gold, right? And they say, I've heard that once. Like, yeah, it's possible that can still work, you know? Because even back when we had Nightmare in Silver, which I still like that episode, it's definitely like I've over time I've kind of been like, yeah, all right, it's probably a very low tier Cybermen episode, but I still kind of enjoyed it. That was still one of the things was, you know, the Doctor saying, oh, well, you're still running old protocols, which means you're still allergic to golden cleaning fluid. And that's how he was able to sort of swap back control between him and the Cyber Leader. So yeah. So I like the weakness devices. They didn't work. They were destroyed pretty quickly, but I did like it. And then we were separated, which was interesting. A good separation, I would say, of, you know, having Graham and Yaz off on their own and Ryan with the Doctor was very interesting. So I like that. And then let's see. Oh, I did like, again, I liked, because see, the whole thing is, you know, right now, Ashad has been killing humans. Like, none of these guys are really being converted. But I like going to... I don't remember. I'm looking at all these names. I can't tell which one is which. So whoever the guy that the Doctor and Ryan end up going with on the cyber ship... that was interesting when he was going to just let him live, let him go. And he said, oh, you can spread the message, say, tell people, be afraid. Humanity is gone and the Cybermen have risen again. That whole thing, that whole speech, again, it just shows you how different Ashad is from the rest of the Cybermen. He honestly, and I said he reminds me of the Cult of Skaro. He also reminds me of the Borg Queen, where, that was the thing with, the Borg, was that they were one consciousness, they were a hive mind, and they were very similar to the Cybermen. But eventually, the writers realized, like, okay, well, we need someone for, Patrick Stewart and Brent Spiner to actually act off of. So they created the Borg Queen. I can't remember if they had the Borg Queen in the Next Gen series. I don't think they did. I think it was just the Borg. I think it was for First Contact. In First Contact, they created the Borg Queen, and then eventually they also brought her in on Voyager. I think that was it. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys even care to correct me about that stuff, about Star Trek. But I think that was it. Fuck, I want to watch Next Gen now. Anyway. But that was the thing, was that, especially in First Contact, which First Contact was probably my favorite of the Star Trek movies. That was the thing in First Contact, was that they definitely, at least there, needed someone for them to act off of, so they created the Borg Queen. And she was different. She was a bit, she was still Borg, definitely, but she was also different. She acted different from the rest of the soldiers, basically. And Ashad definitely kind of reminds me of that, where he's more dramatic and everything, where they're more, robotic and straight to the point. So, but that whole speech, be afraid, and letting them go. Now, I don't know if the Borg Queen would do that, so that might set Ashad apart from the Borg Queen, from being a Borg Queen ripoff. Ashad is definitely different because he is, well, again, because he's also, while he is the cyber leader right now, he is also still very different. He's not a full Cyberman, whereas the Borg Queen was still a part of the Borg, and she was the undisputed leader of the Borg. Whereas Ashad, yes, he is the cyber leader, he's definitely different. He's so different from the rest of them. So yeah. We had the whole thing of the Boundary, which was interesting. I did like that, the whole thing with the Boundary, and it's Kosharmus. Okay, let me just add an R. There we go. So yeah, that was an interesting thing. There's just this place where, you go through and you end up at some other part of the universe. It's never the same place twice. You just go, and then that's that, So that was really interesting. And the whole thing with Kosharmus, where, he stayed behind in case other people were there, I guess he can't just, leave a little note next to it like, hey, it's right here on the beach, walk forward, it'll show up, go through. Good luck, signed Kosharmus. Like, he didn't, you can't just leave a book or anything, or, some sort of beacon to tell you the information. He decided to stay behind in case there was anyone out there. But it's also interesting, he says that it's been a long time since anyone's come to the Boundary, So that was all very, very interesting. I like that. Again, kind of going back to Ashad again, we heard last episode a bit of, he used to be a normal man and he used to have children, and he said, and I slit their throats when they joined the resistance, and it's like, okay, well, that's kind of different, what does that mean? And here they basically say he was a willing recruit. He wanted to be a Cyberman, but interestingly enough, he was rejected. Now, we've had that before. I think that kind of reminds me of, in Series 2 when they talk. I think there was a moment where you can hear them say, it's like, all rejected stock, are basically just incinerated. So that's the thing, is that, while yes, the Cybermen do convert humans, it's not perfect, basically, It's not perfect. They can't convert everyone, Which does make it seem strange, again, kind of going back to Nightmare and Silver, that they were able to even infect the Doctor. Like, I don't know how that works, so... That whole episode, again, it's one of those things where it's like, well, I technically like that episode. I enjoyed that episode, but it's got a lot of problems in it, So, meh, oh well. But Ashad is he was a willing recruit, but he was cast out, basically. He was rejected by the Cybermen, which is very interesting. But now he has found his new purpose. He says, like, I was chosen to revive the Cybermen, the great cyber race, And then there's that whole thing about the inner conflict, that he even acknowledges, like, yes, I do have that inner conflict. I do hate myself because I'm not a Cyberman, but I will revive them. I will bring back the cyber race. It's just so interesting, And it is one of those things where it's like, at the end when it cuts to the Master and it's like, oh yeah, the Master, Gallifrey. I guess the Timeless Children or whatever, the Lie of the Timeless Child or something. It's like, oh, right. We kind of had something going with Ashad, but all right. Maybe that means we'll get more Ashad, though, in future seasons. I don't know. But it is one of those things where it's like, we had a really great thing going here, and it's like, well, we can talk about Gallifrey and the Timeless Child if you want, but I don't know. I just hope it all works and all comes together. I know, maybe that's who knows if that's top 10 things said before disaster or famous last words. I don't know. I do not know. I will find out when I watch the next episode. The long-awaited Timeless Children. I'm ready. Next week, though. So yeah, we also had, not only will the Cybermen ascend, whatever that means, not only will the Cybermen ascend, but he is also looking to go beyond that. Whatever that means, too. Even the Doctor's like, we don't know what that means, man. So I'm very curious what we have in store for the Cybermen. Also, there was this story with Brendan. What even? Like, alright, so this kid was found like Clark Kent, and he was raised, he became a cop, he got shot, fell off a cliff, but he was perfectly fine. And then he grew old, retired, but then the cop and his dad were there, but they weren't any older, and then they had to erase his memory. I don't know what that means. Like, I kept thinking, like, is this secretly, like, Ashad's backstory or something? But, obviously, the kid's name is Brendan, so I don't know. I was like, maybe is the dad Ashad, or is the cop Ashad? What does this have to do with, well, literally anything, Like, I don't know. I have no idea. Because at first, they show that, and then it cuts to, the Doctor with the human settlements and stuff, and it's like, okay, so is that, is Brendan here? This weird, like, old-fashioned human settlement in the far future? No. So, I don't know. We're not given enough information for me to even speculate about that. It's like, I don't know, we just cut to a different show every so often. So, whatever. Let's see. There was the whole thing with the cyber carrier, which was interesting. And again, we have, Ascension. They are apparently ascending. I like the line, we're carrying the Cybermen that makes Cybermen scream. Like, yeah, Ashad is a force to be reckoned with, So that's just terrifying. But we don't know what he was doing. Like, what is the Ascension of the Cybermen? For an episode called Ascension of the Cybermen, I don't feel like I understand what the Ascension is, So, yeah. And then the last thing I wrote down is Gallifrey. The boundary has opened to Gallifrey, and the Master has come through the other way. And I do like, I mean, first, I love Sacha Dhawan as the Master. He's so fun, you know? And of course that's the thing. Every Master is fun. Like, if that was John Sim or Michelle Gomez, I'd still, just get this big smile on my face. But he is really good as the Master. And, he pops in and is like, oh, it's quite an entrance. All right, time for everything to change. And it's like, well, wait, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. We've still got Cybermen stuff. I'm not ready for whatever's happening with Gallifrey. So, yeah. I don't know. I have no idea what is going on with that. I mean, that's the thing. This entire episode has been about the Cybermen, and it feels like we're about to suddenly shift over to the Doctor, the Master, and Gallifrey. Hopefully it all works out. Hopefully it all works out. Hopefully that's not famous last words or anything. I'm ready. I want them to bring it home, man, because last episode was really great. This episode was really great. I want them to bring it on home, Bring it on home. Oh. I'm going to be optimistic. I don't know what's going to happen, Everything's about to change, but I don't know what the hell that means. So, I'm excited, though. I'm excited. I mean, for the past year, basically, ever since I saw that there was some sort of brouhaha going on about this finale, I've been so excited to get here, I've been so excited, and finally, we're here. We are here. Next time, we are going to be finishing off Series 12 of Doctor Who with the Timeless Children. And then the next week, we'll be doing the Series 13 special. Makes it a tad bit anticlimactic when you put it that way, but whatever. It'll be alright. So yes, we've only got 2 episodes left in our long-standing run of Doctor Who. So, this is going to be crazy. Also, would the poll be up now or not? Well, this would go up 2 weeks from now. This would go up 2 weeks from now on YouTube. Okay, so the poll's probably ended by now. Oh, well. Oh, I didn't plan that out. Yeah, so over on my Patreon page was a poll for the show that will replace Doctor Who, though I imagine it's probably already done by now, so yeah. Oh well. Guess we'll see later. Oh well. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to click around. There's a Doctor Who playlist. There's another video if you want to go click on that and watch something else. There's a subscribe button and a Patreon button. There's also a bunch of links in the description if you want to go check any of those out. See you guys next time for the Timeless Children.